All I want is for Imade not to be treated as a second-class child of Davido. Veteran publisher and politician who is an uncle to Sophia Momodu, Dele Momodu, decided to write an open letter titled My Candid Opinion on David Adeleke versus Sophia Momodu. Now I'm just going to read out. It's quite lengthy, but let's quickly go through it. It reads, last night I received a distressing message from Mr. David Adeleke, aka Davido. He was obviously devastated by the counter affidavit submitted in court earlier in the day in response to his affidavit seeking a joint custody of his daughter with my niece, Sophia Momodu. I had seen David's affidavit about 2 weeks ago, and I was very surprised as David and I had spoken on a video call days earlier with him and Pastor Toby Adegboyega, and he never told me he had any custody issues with my niece. So you can imagine my confusion to find out via social media and subsequently confirmed by my niece that he had filed an action in court seeking joint custody of their daughter. During the referenced video call, we were all very excited about his forthcoming wedding ceremony, an event our family congratulated him about. Prior to this, David had told me he eventually spoke to their daughter after a long full of about 2 years. He was very happy and excited, so I thought everything was settled, and he and Sophia would now have the opportunity of taking maximum care of their daughter. I had offered special thanks to David's dad, Dr. Adedeji Adeleke, for his kindness and support for our daughter during the period of David's absence. I had also taken Sophia and their daughter to my very dear friend, Governor Ademola Adeleke, seeking his intervention. To the best of my knowledge, there was never a problem of joint custody. The issues were non-payment of school fees for several sessions, non-payment of accommodation and salaries of a nanny. There was no car dedicated to David's daughter, and so on. Mercifully, I mentioned all to Dr. Adedeji Adeleke, and he responded positively, like a true grandfather. On the issue of non-payment of school fees, David's dad cleared everything and also set up payment of future bills. Meaning, David's dad has already sorted the gbese of school fees that was owed and the future bills. But okay, every other one, no, I'ma take care. He gave his granddaughter a car to take her to school. The remaining issue was on accommodation. David's dad verbally offered in his discussions with me one of their family's apartments in Oniru Estate, Victoria Island. However, maybe due to miscommunication, David's lawyers had communicated otherwise. Let's quickly say something. Davido's dad sorted all the outstanding school fees and subsequent future bills, and also the nanny's fees, and gave Imade a car. But accommodation in lower law, we baba so they have an accommodation at Oniru in VI. However, David's lawyer had communicated otherwise. So communication lawyer to David were misconstrued. After Sophia clarified for me, she politely declined the offer. And her reason was tenable in my view, because since she's not married to David, she can't be comfortable living in a place swarming with David's family members. But Sophia kì í ṣe ìyàwó David, kí ló dé tí wọ́n ṣe máa ní kó lọ gbé family house sí àwọn Davido ní Oniru. She and her daughter had been living in Ikoyi before David and Sophia started their latest quarrels. Sophia's request was that David should pay half of the accommodation while she would pay the other half. David said he could only contribute 5 million naira annually. So in Boani, or David wanted to buy a house of 200 million for Imade. Let's go on. My opinion is that the absence of camaraderie between David and Sophia has caused this problem. I've cautioned repeatedly that their daughter must not be allowed to suffer or be treated like a second-class child. David's global status makes this imperative. Sophia allowed David access to their daughter, provided she has a nanny around 24/7. The 9-year-old herself made this request, and I believe this should be favorably considered and accepted. Say, na Imade made the request to Mama, say, if you won't go in Papa house, make nanny dey with him 24/7. My grandniece had been released to go out with her cousins on several occasions. The governor's daughter, Nike, was at Sophia's house with the governor's grandson last Christmas Day. You know Nike, that's the governor's daughter. That's governor of Oshu State's daughter. Was with the governor's grandson with online hair, despite the fact that there wasn't ample notice and she still granted access. 2 months ago, the governor's son, Shina Rambo, requested a play date between the kids, and Sophia rented out a children's space in Victoria Island for them to spend hours together. The only time she couldn't join her father's family was when her grandfather requested to go on vacation with her for 3 weeks last year, as the notice was too short. David's dad, talk clear, gbogbo outstanding gbèsè yẹn, ton fún Imade mọ́tò, ton ti set out to pay future bills, Imade ní ọdún tó kọjá, said he wanted Imade to be on a trip with him for 3 weeks in last year. But Sophia said she had already paid for her own trips due to lack of communication between the parents. She couldn't let her child go with her grandfather. That's what that means. Now, the court yesterday referred the case for possible settlement by the Alternative Dispute Resolution ADR, which is a section of the court during settlement week, and I strongly advise that David and Sophia engage truly with the process as opposed to making harmful and irreversible statements on social media, which not only violates the law but the interest of their child. I have in the past 9 years tried my best to ensure amicable resolution of disputes and encouraged both parents. Láti ọdún mẹ́sàn-án tọ́mọ yìí ti wà làwọn ti ń dá sí pé kí ìrẹ́pọ̀ wà láàrin wọn, káwọn méjì lè máa discuss nǹkan ìlọsíwájú fún ọmọ wọn. Ẹ jẹ́ ká continue. And to have a proper structure put in place for the welfare of their daughter. It is important to note that Sophia did not instigate this court action. Pé Sophia kọ́ ló bẹ̀rẹ̀ court yìí o, Davido ló gbé Sophia lọ court o, and is only seeking to protect their daughter. Nǹkan tó ń ṣe yẹn is just to protect their daughter, and ensure there is a structured, safe, and sustainable manner in which father and child can engage with each other. The vitriolic rhetoric in the media should be avoided by all means, as this only further inflames what is already a traumatic experience for all parties involved, especially the child in question. Ni Chief Dr. Dele Momodu Bari open letter tí wọ́n kọ sí Davido àti Sophia. Let's take a few comments. Somebody said, "Sir, you have made a very reasonable submission in the interest of the kid. They should both do away with social media drama. They don't need it." Ẹlòmíì ní Thanks for clearing things up. Another said, but why did she involve the pai of their son in a counter application? Somebody else said, all this na fake, na where belle face na you be. Another person said, you don't talk your own. We dey wait for the Davido family member to write their own. I don't trust in on national issues. How would anyone trust you on what you're saying? Two sides to a story. What did Sophia do that made Davido cut ties with her? She mocked the pai of his son at the time it happened. He needed to protect the woman he loved. Now someone that decided to not use protection and have a baby for a man. Last, she had a choice and she made it. Another said, your sister was 25 and Davis was 18 when your sister trapped him with an expensive pregnancy. Another said, she's not the first person to have a child with someone she didn't marry. Tell her to move on with her life and allow David to have access to his child. I know some people will come for me, but to make clear, I have a child that is taken care of without her father's support, and I never for one day denied him not to see or talk to his child, no matter what happened. It's his child for Christ's sake. Another said, while David presents himself as a caring, composed, collected and calm person, his behavior and silence towards the abuse thrown at his daughter by his fan base tells a different story. Ever since the wife came into David's life, he started acting strangely towards his once beloved child. Only those who can see beyond giveaways and silly fan base will understand how pretentious